If you're regular on mass transit, you will want to hear this. Check in. A nationwide funding crisis may threaten your ride. Deputy Political Director Joe St. George says some states are discussing billion-dollar bailouts and others warn of a potential transit death spiral.
How often do you take public transit? Perhaps you use it every day. Maybe you're somebody who rarely uses it. The reality is that public transit agencies around the country are struggling, not just for passengers post-pandemic, but for funding. And nowhere is that more on display than in the state of California, where state lawmakers are on track for $1 billion plus bailout for public transit to stay operational. In San Francisco, ridership on the local transit system is around 32% of what it was before the pandemic. The transit woes exist coast to coast. In Washington, D.C., rail ridership is down 50% prior to COVID-19, and officials are warning of a $750 million budget shortfall, resulting in route cuts, fewer trains, and longer wait times. In a recent Metro meeting, a slide even warned of a potential transit death spiral in the region.
We have a structural financial problem.
The transit issues nationwide are partially the result of changing work habits. More Americans are working from home. Not to mention inflation has meant operating transit has become costlier. Until now, many cities have been able to absorb the losses because of pandemic aid from Congress. But that is set to run out soon, with lawmakers in D.C. showing more interest in spending cuts for the next 2 years as opposed to spending increases or tax hikes for transit. As a result, more of the burden is set to fall on states and cities where subsidies are already occurring. For instance, the Q line in Detroit is set to receive $5 million a year in subsidies until 2039. The more likely impact on you right now, the potential rider, deals. In Los Angeles, the Metro will roll out a plan next month to let users ride all day for $5. In Denver, transit officials have reintroduced free rides in July and August. Just hop on board, its website says. Of course, the cost isn't really free. Lawmakers have approved close to $30 million in state taxpayer aid in recent years to make it happen. Whether or not any of these ideas work is still very much unclear. If you're a frequent public transit user, though, your preferred commute is in limbo, with a potential impact on the environment. Emissions from transportation represent the largest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.